Hello, everyone. Welcome to Interstellar Chats. We are here back again in the new year. Happy New Year. This is Carlene Saelg, your host, with our other co-hosts.
Kristin Anderson, hi.
And
James.
hi, James. Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
James.
We're so excited to be here. And you guys, we're just jumping right in because we are going to talk about that whole Miami 10-foot tall alien thing that we're not sure that really happened, but kind of happened, but there's so much controversy around it. So let's just talk about it. What do you think? James, you start because you have so much to say right now.
I just think it's fascinating that the so many different people, it wasn't just one report. There were several different reports and several different videos that were taken at that mall. And it was showing giant reptilians. And now what appeared to happen was they were blinking in is actually how they were describing it. And that sounds doesn't sound real to me. That's more
Sounds holographic.
Blinking
Sounds like a
in.
projector or hologram or something like that.
Yeah, but
Possibly.
from the reactions of the people in the mall, they were clearly seeing something.
Yes.
And it wasn't just one source. People took cell phone videos. So there's been a couple of different things that I've seen on it. Now I've tried to go back and look at it, and they've taken everything down, which
Right.
tells me there's something to this. And then the interesting thing is I saw this on Journey to Truth, and
What's Journey to Truth?
it's a podcast.
A podcast, okay.
And it was saying basically, well, there's like a little crew just like us, and one of the people on there is a remote viewer, and so she's given coordinates, and the coordinates that she was given, the Miami Mall coordinates, if she was going to remote view that, if they were reversed, are the exact same coordinates of Antarctica. And then some of them were saying, so are you saying that the aliens accidentally just put it in backwards? And
Well, that is an interesting thing to think about, because with remote viewing, the whole thing is the accuracy of the coordinates. So was it an accident? Was it not? Was it a mistake? Who knows, right? And this is where the whole thing gets convoluted, because there are so many different viewpoints. Is it a government psyop? Is it actually real? Is it fake? Is it contrived? Are they trying to, and when I say they, I mean the government, are they trying to create this two sides against each other, creating chaotic energy where it's fake, it's real, it's fake, it's real? And then we don't know what to believe. And that's the point, right? They're creating chaotic energy. So the point of it being a psyop is if they create this possibility of alien invasion, then they can set up what would also be fake, contrived, and a hologram, where aliens come in and they make it seem like it's real on a larger scale, a much larger scale. And now people are really freaked out, scared, and all the fear mongering starts again, right? So who knows? Is this real? In my opinion, my discernment, my intuition tells me it was a government psyop. But definitely the people who were there and witnessed it saw something. Even if it's a hologram, they saw something.
Yeah,
right?
So I'm pulling up the picture on the side here so that we can actually see it.
Right.
And this little blob is kind of what is there still. I don't know if there's anything else.
And if you look, so people
watching, it could be a hologram.
Look at all the pictures. Every single one of them is super blurry from a very far away, far away. We have incredible technology right now even our cell phones can use Zoom. So to me, this is
Yeah.
all kind of contrived, that we don't have a clear picture in any way, shape, or form, because we even have satellite images of every single part of this earth that we could rewind the imaging and go back and zoom in, and we would know what was happening at that same place.
This is so
not
true.
happening.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that I'm just a little skeptical about for the reality of this is that this was here for long enough for all these cops to show up and surround the whole area. If we're talking about like true alien, I mean, they just wouldn't hang out that long.
No, right?
I think
But
there's
we
no
would also,
point,
if the
right?
government was really scared and really concerned, we would have had all of our tech and all of our fighter jets and everything there, like what's going on, taking pictures, getting down there, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of say
I'm not so sure about
we're not
this.
sure, because yes, something happened. It was definitely
But
an image.
I also heard that there was like, it was like a bunch of college kids performing some trickery.
And that's possible
know.
too, right? I also heard that
Yeah.
some princess, Sheikh princess, or I don't know, something was there. So that a fight broke out around that. Don't really know.
Okay.
It's second, third, fourth hand information.
Right?
So it could be a total made up story. Who knows? But
What do you think?
the fact remains, something happened and it looked very large. And again, this could just be creating chaotic energy to confuse you, and confound you.
If it is, you know, a contrived, chaotic show, was it done to hide something else that's going on? Or is it just done for, you know, more division and more fear?
For something futuristic, something, who knows, maybe like next month, maybe they're deciding to throw in some huge scale alien invasion that they can now sell because, hey, remember the Miami thing? We weren't sure about it. Well, look at what's happening now.
Right.
Maybe that was real, so they're
It could just be
creating
like
that.
a trickling out of information to sort of get people used to these sort of things. So this could be a
That's what I
hologram,
mean.
and then there's another
That's what I mean.
little hologram, and then before you know it, there's a real one showing up. But by then
And
you're desensitized.
I want to bring up this point too, and maybe we can put a picture of it or something, or a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Because especially in Asia, they have these amazing advertisements where you can see through hologram technology, arms coming out or a dragon going around the entire building in 3D, and it looks amazing. It's like they're coming out of the building, or they're coming out of a billboard.
Can I just raise my hand?
Yes.
Okay, because I am watching the Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert this evening, and I'm
Nice.
hosting a little movie night. But one of the things that they do in this movie is that hologram that goes like out over the audience, and it looks so real.
Exactly.
I was blown away.
It
was
looks
like,
so real
wow.
and so fascinating. You're just like awestruck looking at
Yes,
this.
it's amazing technology.
It is amazing. So who's to say that they did not project a 10-foot tall, translucent blue alien
Easy.
onto
I feel like that's easy.
Miami, around the Miami Mall.
Right. I feel like it's kind of easy.
Yeah,
to
super
do.
easy.
Yeah.
And no real close-ups, which is bizarre to me. James, you're on mute, just so you know. There you go.
Virtual hologram experiences. Okay, I'm just doing some side research here. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's like going to a show. But could it have been real too? Maybe.
I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm not going to say it's real. I absolutely 100% do not believe that it was real. And I'm going to come back to one second. I'm going to come back to my own belief, right? We always talk about using your intuition, using your discernment, and how do you feel? Just because I feel something doesn't mean you need to feel it, but this is how I feel. And I believe this to be true, that all the alien ET negative beings have been banished from this universe, from this solar system, they are not making an appearance because they aren't here. So that energy isn't here. However, James and I had a little discussion earlier that the minions, what we like to call the minions, the ones who are hybrids, human negative ET beings, they are here. So they have an agenda to continue the dark narrative, the negative narratives, and the evil doings, right? They're here still creating that chaotic energy. So would they be involved with this? 100%. Yes, they would be, right? But are the true genetic ETs of negative origin here? No. I do not believe they are. They are banished from this solar system. So how could they possibly be here circling the Miami Mall? What do they need to get? A purse? Do they need a new purse?
I need a new handbag.
I don't think so. They're not going there first.
To go with my new ship.
They're not going to go see what's happening at the Miami Mall. They're going to go to some White House or some castle where there's a king or a queen. I mean, they've got business to do. They're not here to go shopping for a new purse.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't really make too much
Nothing
sense.
adds up.
Yeah, it doesn't really add up. Not to like the massive things that are happening.
The girl that does the remote viewing, when she was given the coordinates for the mall, and they didn't tell her that it was the coordinates for the mall, she said the first thing that she noticed was that she smelled cookies, which I thought that was,
Interesting.
When you're at the mall, you smell Mrs. Fields' cookies.
Right? Or Otis Spunkmeyer. Do you remember those back in the day? Those were good.
And she also said that she felt like it was a hologram. So.
Okay, good. So that resonates, right, with what we're saying, that it could be a hologram psyop fakery. But we are not saying, and I want to make this very clear, we are not saying that the people who say they saw something didn't see it, because they did. They saw something. But is it true, or was it contrived and fake? That's where you have to listen to your own discernment, your own intuition, and really feel it out for yourself.
Well, the interesting thing to me right now, as we're having this conversation, is that the people who did see it and do believe it get that experience, because that's one of the laws of life. You get what you believe. So if you do believe it, you know, you're going on that trajectory.
And here's also something that's
kind
really
of interesting,
because remember, we're still in that period of disclosure, right? Where lots of people don't believe there's even ETs out there. So if this is making mainstream media that there was an ET sighting, and people are even now just saying, oh my God, they're now saying there are ETs.
right?
That disclosure worked,
That's
even
big.
if the negative ones didn't want it to be like that. At least we now have the majority of people saying, well, there is now a possibility that we're not alone. Hello.
Yeah.
We are not alone.
So what else is kind of interesting is the fear that surrounds it, right? Because if, as you say, the negative aliens, the self-serving beings, are gone and banished, then any sort of being that shows up is going to be here to help us not destroy ourselves, basically, right? And I've heard that from a lot of different channels and things coming in, that, you know, if
Positive
you
ETs,
do, it's a
yes.
positive support and guidance to keep us from destroying the planet, because the planet is so unique.
They also were saying, though, that the reason that they were trying to pass it off as real is they were showing that the veil has gotten so thin that that's what we're seeing, and we can see the truth.
This is true. So there's someone just on my social media feed, I saw someone had posted, they were sitting out in a field and just were taking pictures of the space. And when she went back and looked at the pictures, there were outlines of people, like translucent outlines of people that were just out in the space. Now, who were they? We don't know. Was it another timeline? So just like
And
you're
who is this?
saying, I have no idea, just someone who came across social media. I have
Okay.
no idea who it is, and she doesn't matter. The
Interesting.
thing is the subject, right?
Mhm,
So
yeah.
how interesting, if we're just out taking pictures and then we go back and we look for anomalies, what could we possibly find? We don't even know. We're not doing that.
That sounds like a fun experiment.
Right?
Everybody get out your cameras.
Right?
Yeah.
You should just start taking pictures of the empty space and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's
Well,
just fun.
Yeah, I have a friend that had visited Abadiânia in Brazil, and it's been known for its entities there. And she went outside and at the clear sky and was looking around and just held her camera up and took pictures. And all of a sudden, there are all of these orbs.
Yes, true. And remember when we were together in McKinney and we were just taking pictures of the night sky, we couldn't see it with our naked eye, but when we went back and looked at the camera, we would see these green looking orbs. You remember?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it
I have
definitely is.
Full disclosure, I have heard supposedly that the green orbs are a phenomenon that happens with the camera because of a digital camera or something in the camera. But I will say I don't think that's the truth because in I personally saw this green thing, and this was in McKinney, and I was in the parking lot. I was with my sculpture teacher, and she saw it too, and we took pictures of it. And when you blow it up, it was like an orb, but it looked like on the inside of it, it almost looked like there was something inside it, like a deer. I can't really describe exactly what it was, but there was something that was
Something there.
definitely not
Right.
a reflection or
Right.
You know,
something
I've
like
heard that thing too,
Yeah.
where people say it's something with the camera.
Well, I'm a photographer,
You're a
and I can tell
photographer.
you that there is something that happens with the digital camera. If the lighting is correct, you can pick up like reflections from dust in the air. The lighting has to be right, the dust has to be there. But you can tell
But a
also
big orb.
if it's not dust. There's a difference between what the dust looks like and what the orbs look like. I've seen both of them, and they're different.
Totally.
If you don't know what you're looking at, you could look at a picture that has dust and think it's orbs. But if you look at it, and they are like, dust will look solid more, like a solid dot
Like
more.
kind of whitish.
The orb is hollow.
Mhm.
It has like a round, almost like sun flare, but there's no sun. It almost has a sun flare look, but you're not in a position to catch sun flare. Like, that's not part of the lighting
Especially at night.
scenario. So yeah, they're definitely like hollow, and a lot of times you'll see them like in depth. So you'll see little ones in the back, bigger ones in the front.
Mhm.
But dust usually shows up more like a blurry blotch. Even if it's close to the lens, it's not hollow, it's solid. Like
Mhm.
something is in front of your lens. The orbs tend to be more translucent, but with a defined outline that kind of glows.
And you know, so we also
From what
heard,
I've seen.
we've also heard that these orbs are camera devices, right? They're ET cameras or some kind of recording device.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if an orb is coming down and it's a camera
Mm,
and you're taking a picture of it with your camera, maybe there's some kind of reaction
mhm.
that's happening.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what if this deer looking thing that you saw inside of the orb,
Which is very Harry Potter, by the way. Okay.
right, is some kind of mechanism inside the device? Who knows, right?
Right.
We're just speculating
A
right
little
now.
robot of some sort.
Right.
Who knows?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, little nanotechnology.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or not so nano if we're seeing it.
Yeah. Right?
But
That's pretty
How
cool.
awesome is that? But really, I guess what we're saying is there's so many things to think about with this technology that we now have access to.
So now that we talked about the deer and the inside the orb, that reminds me back to aliens, that when I looked up the Miami aliens, there was some other sort of crawling creature that looked more like a bug kind of
Really?
crawling. Did you see that?
So
No?
full disclosure,
What's that?
because
No.
I knew it in my heart to be a government psyop, I
Right.
did not look at all the videos. I was just like, nope, I'm not looking at all this stuff. So if you guys looked at it,
I looked
feel
at
free
that.
to tell us about it because I don't have a reference
I
point.
mean,
didn't
I
look at
kind of looked at that, but I don't know if I don't even see that here anymore.
it. Right.
It
So
was
point in case here, or case in
gone.
point, whatever the saying is, they've taken down all the videos. Now, why would they do it? Why would they take it down?
Yeah.
What is your take on that? Why do you think they took it down?
There's something to it. That's all
Right.
there's.
There's
Yeah.
either something to it, or they're just creating more speculation and people to, you know, who knows, just let your imagination run wild, all the things.
I mean, it could really just be straight up entertainment for the masses.
Could have been.
You
Could have
know,
been.
just like, what? We got to give these people something because they're expecting aliens. Let's give them an alien. The show must go on.
That's right.
Hey, right?
Well, we are being observed,
Right.
and so maybe this is more like the Truman Show, and somebody is watching and saying, "Hey, we need to spice this up." And
Yeah.
We need
Let's
to-
entertain those silly humans.
Let's get them talking. Let's see how long they'll talk about this for. I don't know.
Yep. And that's all we're going to talk about it today. So thank you, wonderful audience, for tuning in to Interstellar Chats. That's what we have to say on the Miami thing with the aliens and the holograms and this conspiracy theory and psyops and whatever. So anyway, join us next time for our next conversation. We have so much more amazing things to talk about. We will see you on the next episode.
On the next one. Bye.
bye, guys.